You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
This is huge, guys. This is very huge. The dominoes are falling on men competing in women's sports. We got some big news, guys. There's been a whole bunch of news about transgenders competing in women's sports this week. But this one here is pretty huge because this is going to have a worldwide effect on cricket. Now, I've never played cricket, but it's similar to baseball. And you guys have seen baseball players, when they actually hit that ball, they can crush it. There's no way in the world that men identifying as women should be on the same field with women. I mean, that's why we have men's sports. That's why we have women's sports. And the people that actually get hurt in all of this is the women. Usually it's just male athletes that aren't very good competing against men. They decide, hey, I think I want to identify as a woman today and compete against the women, and they crush them. In some cases, they actually injure them. But now, international cricket has said no. They are putting a stop to all of this. Look at this, guys, on Breitbart. Cricket chiefs ban transgender players from women's competition. It is over with. Now, this was a big deal because cycling had did the same thing, and also swimming as well. Remember Leah Thomas talking about, hey, I want to go to the Olympics. Can't do it. Can't do it. But let's get into this. It says the International Cricket Council has banned biological male players from participating in international women's cricket. The move against transgender competitors who identify with the other sex has been made to protect the safety of female players. They should, because we're going to get into something here where female players have been injured by transgenders. The decision means any male to female participants who have been through male puberty will not be eligible to take part in the international women's game regardless of any surgery or gender reassignment treatment they may have undertaken. In other words, guys, no. If you were born a male, you will not participate in international competition. This is a good thing right here. In a statement released on Tuesday morning, the governing body concluded that they had made the decision following a 9-month consultation process to protect the safety of female players. The ICC declared the new policy is based on the following principles in order of priority: protection of the integrity of the women's game, safety, fairness, and inclusion. And this means any male to female participants who have been through any form of male puberty will not be eligible to participate in the international women's game, regardless of any surgery or gender reassignment treatment they may have undertaken. Boy, the Wolves have taken a massive L on this one. The review, which was led by the ICC Medical Advisory Committee Chairman by Dr. Peter Harcourt, relates solely to gender eligibility for international women's cricket, whilst gender eligibility at domestic level is a matter for each individual member board, which may be impacted by local legislation. The regulations will be reviewed within 2 years. Yeah. So if you got your own little, cricket thing going, you can do it. But when it comes to international competition, over with. It is not going to happen. Cricket joins athletics, cycling, swimming, and rugby in banning men from taking part in elite women's competitions at international level. And any man that wants to go over into women's sports and win, I have no respect for these people, because they, deep down inside, man, they truly have to know that this is unfair to the women. Completely unfair. It goes on here, says, however, the ICC statement confirms domestic boards will be given the final say on player eligibility for their own competitions, like we just mentioned right there. So if you want to have your little own thing, you want to allow men in, that's fine. But when it comes to being with the bit boys, or bit girls, I should say, nah, it's not going to happen. The move comes after parents challenged a middle-aged biological male who identifies as a female being allowed to compete in English cricket matches against girls as young as 12. I think I actually remember doing a video on that. This is the reason why this has come to light. Because you had a grown-ass man identifying as a female and beating up on 12-year-old girls. Yeah, that is despicable, man. Despicable. Now, even a 12-year-old girl shouldn't be competing against women. But now you throw a male into the mix. This is definitely repulsive right here. Parents and coaches reportedly sent several letters to the England and Wales Cricket Board demanding answers as to why the biological male is allowed to compete against their young girls. In one letter, a coach claimed the transgender player hits the ball harder than any other I have seen in the league. Well, that's because that's a man. And they're competing against 12-year-olds? Really? This is disturbing. The transgender player also reportedly caused injuries to opponents and umpires in the past. One opponent that the transgender player injured was left unable to play for months. Wow. Canada's Danielle McGahey became the first transgender cricketer to be named in an international women's squad earlier this year. Well, that's over with now. McGahey, who was born a male in Australia before immigrating to Canada in 2020, announced a social transitioning to a woman in November 2020 and began medically transitioning in May 2021. The 29-year-old first played in an international competition against Brazil in September. However, under the ICC's new regulations, James will no longer be able to compete in international women's cricket. Yeah. And look over here. I believe this is actually, that's Danielle McGahey right there. Biological male right there. Now is banned. Banned. And they mentioned something here from the ICC chief executive. Says, quote, the changes to the gender eligibility regulations resulted from an extensive consultation process and is founded in science right there and aligned with the core principles developed during a review. Inclusivity is incredibly important to us as a sport, but our priority was to protect the integrity of the international women's game and the safety of players. Yeah. And this person right here, Danielle McGahey, now banned. Banned completely from competing in women's cricket internationally. Now, this is a 29-year-old here. The 29-year-old opening batter played all 6 of Canada's matches during the Women's T20 World Cup, America's region qualifiers event in Los Angeles. To add to national team appearances previously in fixtures which did not hold off official ICC status. Yeah. And now this person now is banned. Banned. This is glorious, guys. This is glorious. This is the way it needs to be. We need to keep men out of women's sports. It's unfair. Compete against the males. If you are a biological male, compete against the males. It's only fair. Just did a video yesterday, man. A transgender person broke the knee of a female. I mean, that's just completely wrong, man. Somebody else, man, is going to get hurt if the madness just keeps on continuing like that. Somebody eventually may end up losing their life. And that we don't need to see that. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.